Ever since the stranger fell out of the sky and fell to Middle-earth, people have been wondering who this guy is. He's an old man, he's very tall, and he shows the same strange powers that most of the wizards do from the Lord of the Rings. So it seems pretty certain that this guy is definitely one of the wizards. But which one? Some people have said that he's Gandalf. Some people have said that he's even Sauron. And some people have said that he's Saruman. But I don't think he's any of those three. I think that he's a completely different wizard, and I think I know exactly which wizard he is. First off, let's look at the case for Gandalf. Well, he has very similar powers to Gandalf. The ability to talk to animals and get them to do what he wants. The same sort of booming, powerful voice, and the ability to even change the weather and the light around him in order to try and intimidate his foes. He also has a very similar appearance, similar height, and just overall a very similar presence to Gandalf. He's also friends with hobbits, and Gandalf, as we know, was great friends with hobbits. He was very fond of hobbits, trusted them a lot, and especially liked the very curious, adventurous hobbits like Bilbo, Frodo, or Nori. Some people think that this might be where his friendship and his trust of hobbits began, and this explains why he likes hobbits in the first place. It also makes sense because Gandalf is a very popular character from Lord of the Rings, so it makes sense that the showrunners would want to try and bring Gandalf back, to get some of that popularity and that Gandalf clout that he has and make use of it for their own show for Rings of Power. The reason it shouldn't be Gandalf is because according to the actual lore of Middle-earth, written by Tolkien, Gandalf does not appear in Middle-earth until much, much later. And so technically it just doesn't make sense for it to be Gandalf. That doesn't mean that the showrunners aren't going to mess around with that, change the lore to suit their own needs, but it does seem unlikely because of that. Next, a lot of people are saying that it's Sauron, but I think this makes no sense whatsoever. Sauron shouldn't have lost his memories. Also, he wouldn't be coming from the sky right now and falling like a comet. There's no reason for him to appear as an old man to try and maybe trick some hobbits, or maybe he somehow lost his memory. It just doesn't seem likely. A lot of the reason people believe it is Sauron is because he's powerful and because he actually killed the fireflies, but I don't think he did that on purpose. That's probably due to his memory loss. Naturally, if he's lost his memory, he's going to have a harder time controlling his powers, using them appropriately. It's possible that he didn't mean to kill those fireflies, just did it by accident. And everything we've seen from him so far makes him come across as a very sort of gentle, kindly character. So it seems very unlikely to me that this is actually Sauron, either playing some sort of long game or just lost his memories. That just doesn't make sense. Sauron's the main antagonist, he's the bad guy right now, he's the one everyone is responding to. So the idea that he's just lost all his memories would mean there's actually no threat whatsoever. Who's organising the orcs? Who's organising these raids in these tunnels? If Sauron doesn't even have his memories, it just doesn't make sense. Next, people are saying it's Saruman. I'm pretty sure it's not Saruman, just because there's no signs for it that it is Saruman. Saruman was the leader of all the wizards. He was supposed to be the wisest, the smartest among them. The idea that he'd be sent to Middle-earth and just not have his memories for some reason, I just don't believe that. Also, his personality is completely opposed to what we saw of Saruman in Lord of the Rings. It seems nothing like it. I don't see any signs pointing to him being Saruman other than the fact that he's definitely some kind of a wizard. So if it's not Gandalf, and it's not Sauron, and it's not Saruman, then who is it? Well, I think it's definitely one of the blue wizards. Two wizards that were also sent to Middle-earth, along with the other three, Gandalf, Saruman, and Radagast, the brown wizard that we saw in The Hobbit. The blue wizards were sent much, much earlier, and so it makes a lot of sense that the blue wizards would arrive now. Also, the blue wizards are very mysterious. We don't know much about them in the lore or just as fans of the show and the books. And so it's the easiest two wizards, because there's actually two of them. It's the easiest wizards for the showrunners to take and try and do whatever they want with, make into their own character. Because we don't already have an idea of what they're like, having seen so little of them in the books and seeing none of them in the films. The blue wizards, of which there are two, were both sent to try and stop Sauron, to try and stop him from gaining power, to try and sabotage him as he builds his army and builds his power, before the great battle with Sauron, where he's eventually defeated. So in terms of timing, this seems quite perfect for the Blue Wizards. If they were to arrive now, they would be able to help in aiding Sauron. Another reason it could be the Blue Wizards is that this wizard has lost his memories. And we know the Blue Wizards disappear eventually, and we don't know why. Nobody knows what happened to the Blue Wizards after Sauron was defeated. They just seem to disappear and nobody knows what happened to them. The possibility is that maybe because they lost their memories, they forgot their duty to defeat Sauron, and so they might have forgotten that they were wizards. They might have forgotten what they were supposed to do, and so they just sort of disappeared off to do whatever they like. And that would kind of make sense considering the memory loss. So yeah, that's my theory. I think the Blue Wizards are the most likely. I don't know which of the two Blue Wizards it is, but I'm pretty certain it is one of them. But what do you think? Is this a dumb theory? Is there a much better candidate you think it might be? Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, please feel free to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.